Hi, this is Linda. I'm going to show you today how to create an applique design in Prostitcher Designer, so you can take it straight over to your machine, load it into Prostitcher and stitch it straight out onto there. So to start off with, I'm going to go into Tools and I'm going to select Artwork, and I'm going to find the heart and just draw out a heart. Okay. Now I'm going to click on Select, and I have the heart there, as you see, all selected. I'm going to Control and D to duplicate, and I'm going to Control and V twice. So now if you look out at the sequence view, I have 3 sets of the same heart, and if you hover over the pencil you can see exactly which design it is that you're looking at, and they're all hearts at the moment, and they're all artwork. The third one here, I'm going to right click and I'm going to convert to running stitches. Now this is the one that we're going to have stitching the fabric down and creating the applique itself. So I'm now going to go over here into Run, and I'm going to click on Standard, and I'm going to click on Motif. Now in the pattern I'm going to go down, click on there and go right down to Blanket 2 and click on that one and click Apply. Now you can see that's changed to stitch work, and you can see the difference in the picture. Now what I'm going to do is right click, hold down my control button, left click, hold down my control button, select the 2. Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to convert both of those to running stitches. The reason I am doing that is that you want to create the area on your quilt top first, then lay your fabric on top, stitch that fabric down, trim the fabric away, and then put the blanket stitch around it. Okay, so now that we've got all that there, you can do this with as many shapes and designs as you want to. They are all now stitches. So if I go onto the stitch out and I show you, so that would be your initial placement, your fabric and your stitches around it. Okay, so now that we've got that, we need to get it into the Prostitcher. Load it onto your USB, take it over to the machine and load it. So here I have one that I've already done and taken into the Prostitcher Premium program, and this one I've already got a heart and a flower on the inside, done exactly the same way, creating the 3 designs that you've got the stitch outs. Now what we need to do now is separate that stitching, because if I just press Run it's going to stitch the whole lot all together. So I'm going to go to Prostitcher, and I'm wanting to stop the stitching when it's done that first round of heart. So these arrows here, you can jog through 1 stitch at a time. You can move your slider, and as you can see that the green start point is whizzing around the heart. Okay, or you can use the jumps. Now what I'm wanting to do is to, like I say, is to stitch out that first stitching row. Now I know from previously that if I put into here 13.97, it doesn't look as though it's actually done anything, but that goes all the way around there. That would be the beginning of the second row. The way that I've done that is literally just by scrolling that down, and when I get to the bottom it's 13.97. Okay, so that needs to be my first stop point actually. So if I click into here, into the end point, and put 13.97 and enter it, you can see now that the stop and the start point are together, and it will only stitch that first circle or the first heart or the first flower, whatever design or shape you've got in there, it will only stitch that first one. What you then need to do is stitch that out. That will give you the placement for the fabric. Place the fabric on top of those stitches. Just pin it down away from the stitching, pin it down so that the fabric doesn't move, and then you will need to do your second round of stitching. Now that first point that we finished at 13.97, I'll put that back in there. Okay, I'm going to take that one all the way back down to the end there. So now 13.97 takes me from the first, or that point down at the bottom there where we'd finished off the first one, and I need to stitch that fabric down onto the quilt top. So I'm now going to find out where the next point is just by dragging the slider down to where it's going to stop from there. And you can jog, like I say, one stitch at a time from there. Now I know from before that that is 27.95. Okay, so that's going to be my next finish point. So I go back over here again and I click in the end point 27.95. Oops, got quite a few in there. There we go. Okay, and my start point is going to be the last finish point, which is the 13.97. That will then stitch that second row of stitching along there where the fabric is. What I'm going to do then is stop. I'm going to trim the fabric away from those stitches, and then I'm going to continue on to the next bit and have all the blanket stitching done. So now I know that the last stitch in that second round of the heart is 27.95. I will put back into my start point 27.95, and I would find the last stitch, ignoring that flower, the last stitch on the blanket stitch again, and I would enter that number in there. That will give you the whole of the heart. So the first round is stitching the placement, the second round is stitching the fabric on, and the third round is actually putting on the blanket stitch for it. You can play with this for ages with all kinds of different shapes. Anything that you put on there will have the blanket stitch on it, and you can carry on from there. Now if I just press run, if I go from the beginning and I press run, as you can see, it will stitch it out for you. I'm going to put the speed up right up to the top, and you can see it stitch out. So that would be your first round, and that would be where you would place your fabric. This will be the second round, and that's stitching the fabric down for you to trim. And now the fancy stitching is going in, and all the blanket stitch will stitch out. So hours of fun to be had with this, lots of decorations, lots of shapes that you can do with it. Hope you enjoy it. See you soon.